Welp, y'all, we is back. We're on day 46 of the story. Man, it's getting good. We are in a cave with Mr. Elijah. You know what, something, y'all? I was just in class with Mr. Elijah, gave me some pointers. I didn't implement them yet, so I should play some music in the background while I'm doing this. Maybe Abraham says, I got a plan for you. Could be. I got all kinds of folks giving me some advice on how to make this better. But I don't know how to do it, so I'm holding my phone in my hand. Look, it's jiggling around because I'm putting it in my hand and reading from a Bible. That's just what I'm doing. Nothing playing, nothing. But I know I'm in a cave with Mr. Elijah. And he said, and the word of the Lord came to him. What are you doing here, Elijah? He replied, I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty, and the Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left. Now they are trying to kill me too. You just brought down fire from above and you thinking he's worried about them? Come on now. The Lord said, go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord. The Lord is about to pass by. Almost like a Moses moment, ain't it? This might get good. Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his face and went out and stood at the mouth of the cave. Then a voice said to him, What are you doing here, Elijah? He replied, I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. The Lord said to him, Go back the way you came and go to the desert of Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael, king over Aram. Also anoint Jehu, son of Nimshi, king over Israel. Yep. And anoint Elisha, not Elijah, but Elisha, son of Shaphat, from Abel Mahala, to succeed you. Yeah, he did that. And, he said that, but this dude's like, I don't know if I can, he's succeeding him as a prophet. He said, I don't even know if I can say them words. So Jehu will be put to death, or will put to death any who escape the sword of Hazael, and Elisha will put to death any who escape the sword of Jehu. Yet I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed down to Baal, and whose mouths have not kissed him. So Elijah went from there and found Elisha. It's getting confusing, y'all. If you were looking at the words, it's simple. They replace a J with an SH. And they have, it's pretty close in these words. Elijah and Elisha. Yeah, son of Shaphat. He was plowing with the 12 yoke of oxen, and he himself was driving the 12th pair. Elijah went up to him and threw his cloak around him. Elisha then left his oxen and ran after Elijah. "Let me kiss my father and mother goodbye," he said, "and then I will come with you." "Go back," Elijah replied. What have I done to you?" So Elisha left him and went back. He took his yoke of oxen and slaughtered them, and burnt the plow equipment to cook the meat, and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he set out and follow Elijah and became his servant. King Ahab constantly vacillated. These words, y'all. Who puts these things in here? Vacillated? Constantly vacillated, appearing kingly one day and then floundering the next. He spared the life of his arch enemy Ben-Hadad when God delivered the king of Aram into Ahab's hand in battle. Yet Ahab took the life of his own subject, Naboth, in order to steal Naboth's vineyard. This dude. In the end, Ahab died in battle, disguised as a foot soldier hit by a random arrow. His son Ahijah could not improve on his parents' this dismal record, so he also joined the annals of the wicked kings and died without successor. Judah, Asa's son, Josaphat followed God. In Judah, Asa's son Josaphat followed God, survived enemy threats, and the southern kingdom began to prosper. Meanwhile, Elijah's time had come to an end. There was never a greater exit than his, of more compelling proof of his successor Elisha, or to his successor Elijah, that the mantle of divine power had now passed to him. There we go. We're getting this to big words and all. We're taking it out, knocking them down, right? When the Lord was about to take Elijah up to heaven in a whirlwind, Elijah and Elisha were on their way from Gilgal. Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here. The Lord has sent me to Bethel." But Elisha said, "As surely as the Lord lives, and as you live, I will not leave you." So they went down to Bethel. 50 men from the company of the prophets went and stood at a distance, facing the place where Elijah and Elisha had stopped at the Jordan. Elijah took his cloak, rolled it up, and struck the water with it. The water divided to the right and to the left, and the two of them crossed over dry ground. When they had crossed, Elijah said to Elisha, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you?" "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit," Elisha replied. "You have asked a difficult thing," Elijah said. "Yet if you see me when I am taken from you, it will be yours. Otherwise, it will not." As they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them. And Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha saw this and cried out, my father, the chariots and the horsemen of Israel." And Elisha saw him no more. Then he took hold of his garment and tore it in two. Elisha then picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him, and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. He took the cloak that had fallen from Elijah and struck the water with it. Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah? He asked. And when he struck the water, it divided to the right and to the left, and he crossed over. The company of the prophets of Jericho who were watching said, "The spirit of Elijah is resting in Elisha." And they went to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. Now we know where we're at in the stories, right? Elijah was gone. Elisha was left to carry on the work, and his dramatic miracles made it clear that his God was one of unspeakable power and glory. In one instance, Elisha purified a spring to provide fresh water to an entire town. Another time, through Elisha's intervention, a poor widow and her son were saved from financial ruin and slavery by a bottomless jar of oil. Elisha appreciated the small favors that lightened the prophet's stressful load. On one occasion, he was offered a meal by a wealthy woman from Shunem. Shunem, yeah. Who eventually suggested to her husband that they offer Elisha a place to stay whenever he came to their area. Grateful for her friendship and kindness, Elisha prayed to God for the woman who had a son. One day when Elisha came, he went up to the room and lay down there. And he said to his servant Gehazi, call the Shunammite. The Shunammite. Ooh, call the Shunammite, dude. So he called her, and she stood before him. Elisha said to him, "Tell her, you have gone to all this trouble for us. Now what can we do, or what can be done for you? Can we speak on your behalf to the king or to the commander of the army?" She replied, "I have a home among my people." "What can be done for her?" Elijah asked. Gehazi said, "She has no son, and her husband is old." Then Elisha said, "Call her." So he called her, and she stood in the doorway. "About this time next year," Elisha said, "you will hold a son in your arms." "No, my lord," she objected. "Please, man of God, don't mislead your servant." But the woman became pregnant, and the next year, about the same time, she gave birth to a son, just as Elisha had told her. Later, when the child was older, he grew ill. Imagine his mother's distress when the child died in her arms. Her first move was to travel to see Elisha. Smart move. When she reached the man of God at the mountain, she took hold of his feet. Gehazi came over to push her away, but the man of God said, "Leave her alone. She is in bitter distress, but the Lord has hidden it from me and has not told me why." "Did I ask you for a son, my lord?" she said. "Didn't I tell you, don't raise my hopes?" Elijah said to Gehazi, Gehazi. Yeah, we're going to go with Gehazi. I've been messing it up all along either way, so it don't matter. "Tuck your cloak into your belt, take my staff in your hand, and run. Don't greet anyone you meet, and if anyone greets you, do not answer. Let my staff on the boy's face." But the child's mother said, "As surely as the Lord lives, and as you live, I will not leave you." So he got up and followed her, and Gehazi went on ahead and laid the staff on the boy's face, but there was no sound or response. So Gehazi went back to meet Elisha and told him, "The boy has not awakened." When Elisha reached the house, there was the boy lying dead on his couch. He went in, shut the door on the two of them, and prayed to the Lord. Smart move. I'm going to go ahead and finish this because we're at the top of the page. Didn't get very far. Then he got on the bed and lay on the boy, mouth to mouth, eyes to eyes, hands to hands. As he stretched himself out on him, the boy's body grew warm. Elisha turned away and walked back and forth in the room, and then got on the bed and stretched out on him once more. The boy sneezed 7 times and opened his eyes. We're going to leave it off there. Top of page 211. Man, what a story. We start out and there's all these people with all these names that are almost the same, confusing the heck out of people. You got to figure out where you're at in the story. Man, just make us some names we all can get, right? But you know what? These names in this Bible, I got boys with them names in my church that I see on Wednesday night. So how amazing is that? People named after people in the Bible. Love it. Makes it so nice and so neat. Hey, you know, these stories that we see this, God's always wanting to move a miracle. Even in your life, he's wanting to do a miracle. Whether that's heal you or something, he wants you to know without a shadow of a doubt, he is God. A lot of times people say, no, we ain't got to try that. That's the devil talking to y'all. Because throughout the Bible, when people say, God, I need to know this is really you, he sent signs. He sometimes tell them why you need a sign. You've seen all the signs you need. But man, when you just need to know God is God, he's going to send you that sign. He's going to let you know it is him. And we may not all have the experience where we're on the mountaintop sitting in a cave and he comes and talks to us and says, come on out here and see me. But he's going to do something in your life where you know it's him talking to you. So I just pray that y'all get that opportunity to experience that, to hear him speak to you. I love y'all. I appreciate all my thumbs uppers, all my subscribers, everybody that watches this little thing here. Thank you for doing that. Y'all have a blessed day and bye.